Thank you, Mr. President. Distinguished guests and faculty, parents, friends, party crashers, and the real reason that we are here today, members of the Fullerton College class of 2015. I said everyone. So Hornets, I want to congratulate all of you. You have persevered and you've accomplished something that's of real value. You completed your studies, you earned your degree, and you learned enough, just enough, to be very dangerous. But the world is waiting for your ideas, for your energy, and for your service. I want to congratulate also the parents who have given these graduates more than they know and who today feel a strange combination of relief and foreboding dread. You see, your parents are wrestling with one of the greatest questions of life. When my adult kid moves back home, should I charge her rent for her old bedroom? Well, regardless of the answer to that question, we do owe these parents a great debt of gratitude. And maybe it's not a parent, maybe it's a grandparent, or maybe it's a husband, or a wife, or a sister, or a brother, or an uncle, or an aunt. Sometimes it's our own kids who push us and put out that shining light for us to get past and to move and to graduate. So if that's the case, I want to thank all of those who are so important in making sure that all of our graduates today will walk across this stage. Let's give those another hand, everybody who worked so hard to get you through. You know, because St. Francis said, if the only prayer that you ever say is thank you, it would be enough. So on this Memorial Day weekend, I also want to, you just heard that I'm the highest woman ever in the Congress to work on military issues. And so I want to thank those who have served and those who are serving and their families, the families who also serve when people serve, because so many of them have given us the ultimate sacrifice to keep our country free and choices for all of you out there. You know, as a senior member of the Armed Forces Committee, I have visited our troops all over the world in places that are incredibly dangerous. And I have to admit to you, more than dangerous, it can be very lonely. It can be very lonely. And I have been humbled and inspired by the courage and commitment. So truly, I want to thank those in the audience and those in the stands who have served our country. So, thank you for inviting me today. My role here tonight is to say something motivational, to sort of give you that jolt as you launch out into the world. And your role, quite frankly, is to listen politely while dreaming about all the parties you're going to attend tonight. So just like class, you know the drill. Look alive. You know, if I had my way, really, I would just ask each and every one of you up here and invite you to tell us just one thing, one piece of wisdom that you learned here at Fullerton College. What would you say? What would you say? Don't worry, we're not going to make you do that today. But remember, in the words of Winston Churchill, it takes courage to stand up and speak. It also takes courage to sit down and listen. As you graduate today, your families and your college and your professors and your sweethearts and perhaps even your bank, the whole world is waiting to be dazzled by you. I believe you'll rise to the challenge, but I want to give you a little bit of advice to improve your odds. I think that there are 5 challenges in life that I would ask you to accept, to embrace, and to make part of your lives from this day forward. So, number 1, first and foremost, challenge yourself. Don't rest on your laurels. Challenge your complacency, your apathy, your indecision, and your fears. Be suspicious of your own comfort, of your success, of your popularity. Always be alarmed by a feeling of satisfaction, because pain is a fuel for the journey of life. The absence of pain is the absence of struggle. So always, every day, challenge yourself, because life is not as long as you think. Before you know it, you'll be the one giving the commencement speech. They say that inside of every old person is a young person wondering what the hell happened. So instead of living in the present, we keep waiting. We keep waiting for the milestones, right? We think we're going to get to that and we're finally going to find happiness. You know, we're going to graduate, we're going to find happiness, we're going to get married, we're going to get admitted to the bar. But life is what happens when you're making the plans. Because we're either depressed because we dwell on the past, or we're anxious because we're thinking about the future. There was an ancient Greek philosopher, Epicurus, who rightly observed that a fool is always getting ready to live. Don't be a fool. Live in the present. Squeeze every ounce of joy out of the here and the now. In other words, get busy living or get busy dying. As Old Red said to Andy Dufresne at Shawshank Prison, in order for your dreams to come true, you have to wake up. You have to go out. You have to face the world. So challenge number 2, challenge conventional wisdom. Wherever you find it, in old sayings, in the media, on Facebook, and the loudspeakers mounted on the sides of most bandwagons, learn to distinguish between fact and opinion and speculation. Demand the evidence. Test every proposition before you act on it. Don't accept easy answers. For example, we hear all the time that the best defense is a good offense, don't we? Now, how many of you truly believe that the best defense is a good offense? Well, I'm going to tell you that that's not always the case. Sometimes the best defense is a good defense. I'm going to give you an example. Okay? Take the Union Army at Gettysburg. You all learned about Gettysburg, right? Okay, so the Union Army at Gettysburg, they anchored themselves on top of Cemetery Ridge and Old Round Top and let the Confederate forces hurl themselves onto them time and time again, culminating, finally, in Pickett's disastrous charge, illustrating that sometimes the worst defense is a bad offense. In other words, when you have the high ground, hold it. Challenge number 3. Challenge the majority view. If you challenge conventional wisdom, you'll often find that you're going to be in the minority. Cultivate your independent judgment. The crowd yells, face reality. But what they call reality is often nothing but a collective hunch. Have the courage to trust your own judgment and go your own way. Don't take the path of easy consensus. Here's my advice. Stay off bandwagons. The ride might be free, but they're often going the wrong way. In the year 2002, right after the 9/11 attacks, oh, Americans, we were flush with success in Afghanistan, and we had the terrorists on the run. And President Bush called on the Congress to authorize the invasion of Iraq. They warned that Saddam had the weapons of mass destruction to destroy all of us. And you know what? Most of Congress climbed on the bandwagon. But I refused, and I voted against that invasion of Iraq. I voted against that war because I was not convinced that Saddam had nuclear or chemical weapons, or that an invasion would go after our own security. And you know, I came back to Orange County and I was spit on. They had to put bodyguards on me. People were not very happy. I was ridiculed. I was threatened. But I stayed true to my own independent judgment. And you know what? I never found WMD. The war was a mess, and it was long, and it's messier, and it still drags on. And most Americans today believe that it was a historic blunder to invade Iraq. Sometimes the voice crying in the wilderness is the right voice. Challenge number 4. Challenge number 4. Challenge the odds. Challenge the odds. I don't mean go to Las Vegas tonight. But I want to tell you that fortune favors the bold. So be brave. Go for it. Even when the odds are stacked against you, have a bias for action. Have you hornets ever heard of the Seabees? Any of you ever heard of the Seabees? Of course, the veteran. Remember, I do military stuff, so my stories are military. Imagine for a woman. A Seabee is a sailor who is assigned to Naval Construction Battalion, CB. And during World War II, when U.S. forces were fighting in the Pacific and they're going island to island to island to island, thousands of islands, okay? The Seabees did miracles because in every island that they got to, they had to build airstrips and supply depots and all these necessary military installations to hold those islands. Often, they were done overnight. And I love the motto that the Seabees have. Their motto is, can do. With willing hearts and skillful hands, the difficult we do immediately. The impossible takes a little longer. Let me tell you, some Navy guys over there. Let me tell you about a lady named Maria who challenged herself and challenged the odds. Born in Mexico, Maria left school to help the family financially when her father died at age when she was 8. Eventually, she immigrated to the U.S. She settled down in Anaheim, and she raised 7 children. She worked at home, she worked odd jobs, and she taught her children to believe in the value of hard work and education. But even as she struggled and saved and worked her fingers to the bone to ensure that all her children, and they did, all her children went to university and got that education. Maria got her GED, and then her AA, and then her university diploma. And when her children headed to college, Maria became a public school teacher. You see, the first college graduation that I ever went to was right here in Fullerton, when my mom, Maria, walked across the stage just like this at age 50 and received her bachelor's degree. You hear that, parents? Yes. You can do it. It wasn't easy. There was lack of money. There was the guilt of not being home at night with her family. There was the stress of never having enough time to do it all. The fear of studying in a second language and of not being understood because of her heavy accent. But through it all, she persevered and she defied the odds. And did I tell you that my mother is the only mother in the history of the United States to send 2 daughters to the United States Congress? Your last challenge, challenge number 5.
They're happy it's over.
Challenge your fear of failure. In order to challenge the odds, you absolutely must challenge your fear of failure. So many of us choose our path out of the fear disguised as practicality. Those are Jim Carrey's words. Fear of failure paralyzes you. It diverts you from doing great things with your life. The reality is that life is going to hold a lot of tough days for you. But life also teaches us that there are super days, super days. And if you don't give up, you will reach those. Because courage is that small little voice at the end of the day that says, I'll try again tomorrow. The challenge is to respond to failure in a way that strengthens you. You know what big shots are? Big shots are just little shots who kept on shooting. And the great Wayne Gretzky, as you all know I love Wayne Gretzky, said, listen to this because this is important, guys. You miss 100% of the shots that you never take. You lose 100% of the shots that you never take. And Thomas Edison invented the light bulb after years of trying and thousands of failed experiments. And you know what Thomas Edison said? He said he never failed, but he found many ways that did not work. So, in conclusion, I call you to cultivate. Test every truth. Challenge conventional wisdom. See the world differently. We don't see things as they are. We see them as we are. Graduation is a great opportunity for you. But it's not just about you. There's something more profound than just each and every one of you. It's called a call to service. So I challenge you today to go out, to find your calling, to do your part, to make the Hornets proud. That's what we ask of you. Do something great. Be a mom. Do something great. Be a doctor. Do something great. Be a quarterback. Do something great. Be a college professor. Do something great. Do it in our community. Do it in our state, do it for our nation, or even in the world. Do it. Do something with your life that is extraordinary. And remember that there's no script, that there will always be challenges and tragedies, but if you challenge yourself, you will be an example, a great example of the future. So, of 2015, congratulations, you pioneers.
Thank you, Congresswoman Sanchez. We have a present for you. During the commencement ceremony, we are pleased to confer Emeritus Staff